Hey everyone, welcome in. This is Old Fish, New Fish, presented by Jeff Cook Real Estate. I'm Jared Shaffron. We've got a whole host of guests here joining us on today's little Zoom call. Thought it'd be great to bridge a couple gaps here of Stingrays generations, and just going to go through everyone who's joining us here in on this call. But it's going to be an opportunity to learn some a little bit more about some of these guys and hear some memories of their time in Charleston, and then talk to some of our guys who are on the team this year. So we've got Rick Vaive, who coached the Stingrays from the team start all the way up until the '98 year. Dan Fournel, who played for the team as well, stays now in South Carolina and tries to get in Charleston as much as he can, but also part of those teams with Coach Vaive. And then Hugo Marchand, who's in Charleston now and was with the Rays for a couple seasons. He won a championship in 2001, and now a firefighter locally in Charleston. The guys we have currently with us, Tim Harrison going into his third year with the Stingrays, forward with us. Three forwards actually, Dan DeSalvo, who's going to be in his second season with the Rays, and Justin Florek, who ninth year pro, who just joined the team and is getting ready to suit up and play his first game as a Ray here in a couple weeks when we start up the season. But guys, I appreciate you guys all coming and joining us and giving us a little bit of time to share some memories. And I feel like we got to start off with Coach. Coach, I know it's probably been a long time since the fans in Charleston have heard from you, but I guarantee a lot of these people who are watching this remember you well. They know exactly what you brought to those years at the beginning of this team, and probably pretty cool for them to be hearing from you now. What are your memories like of Charleston? And it's great to reconnect with you here for the team.
Well, they were all very fond memories for me anyway, and it was a little crazy the first year or two. Then there was an ownership change in that period. There was a lot of crap that went on, and the gentleman who first brought the team there with Marcel Dion and Frank Milne was like he operated like it was a circus. So he was like a circus ring leader, and he did a lot of crazy shit. But we, you know what, we filled the building. We averaged over 9,000 a game that first year, and then in our fourth year, we ended up winning a championship. So my kids loved it there. My wife loved it there, and I did as well. And we lived out in where the hell did we live? West Ashley, I think it was. Somewhere, I don't know, somewhere out there off 17. And oh, Mount Pleasant. Sorry, my wife's yelling at me.
Way out.
40 years coming up in June for us too. So she knows me well. She always listens and chimes in when I forget something. But yeah, I had a lot of fun there, and I had a lot of great kids that played for me. Dan and Jared and Fitzy and Kooks, and we had a lot of fun, and we played pretty damn good hockey.
Dan, if you want to jump in and kind of introduce yourself and give what it was like to play down here.
Yeah, so I was actually, it took me everything not to jump in when he said he forgets stuff. I was like, yeah, I do that too. I might want to bring my wife up here just in case.
No, that's not a good idea.
Right, yeah. Wasn't married then, but no. Yeah, I played for Rick back in the day with, one guy he forgot was Spags, and we had a great time. And I mean, we played hard. We had a good time off the ice. Charleston's got some awesome memories for me. I enjoy. I still love going there. The ownership you talked about, the ownership I remember was Zucker and
first class.
Yeah, treated. I mean, I still talk to Anita all the time. She's an unbelievable woman. Do anything for you, and that's how you felt when you played there. If you needed anything, they took care of you. And so great organization from the start, and I hated leaving, and I'll be back there at some point here in the very near future, and I still, still support the guys. I think Kooks is a close friend, and he's the president now. So we're involved and kind of go back when they have alumni days and keep my nose in there. Enjoy watching and pulling for them when they're playing for sure.
Hugo, you're in Charleston every day, so
Yep.
you couldn't leave. You're the only one who's a full-time resident, I guess. So probably pretty cool for you to make your home down here now.
Yeah. I moved back down here around 2005 and met a girl, and now we're married, got 2 kids, and bartended for maybe 4 or 5 years. Had to get a more serious job and became a fireman. So love what I do now, and love Charleston. And like those guys were saying, like the owner were top notch. They're all surrounded by great players. Myself, I was not very talented. I was just hard worker, and I enjoyed all my 2 years played with the Stingrays. So it was fun. It was really fun.
Timmy, you're the elder statesman, I guess, on this call, at least for being in Charleston.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I wouldn't call me the elder statesman.
Not the oldest.
No offense, fellas, but
as far as being on our current team, and I'm sure you're itching to get back down here. About to start year 3 with this group, and it's been a pretty good ride for you here in the last couple of years.
absolutely. I mean, basically along the same lines of what these guys are touching on, and I just want to say off the bat, it's pretty cool to hear how near and dear you guys hold Charleston to your hearts, because obviously playing here will be my 3rd year. I know, and it's just really cool to hear after all this time that you guys still think about Charleston, still keep in touch with everyone. So that's pretty cool. But for myself, I mean, it comes down to having a good group of guys and really working hard for each other. And like you guys said, that kind of comes down from the top, and that tradition most certainly has continued because they treat us very well. They take care of us, and it just makes you want to work harder for them. So we've had a couple good groups in the past couple of years, and obviously pumped to meet the new guys this year and keep that tradition alive.
And Dan, you were part of a lot of success last year. Obviously, the team had a really good record, and I'm sure reflected a lot of what Tim just said. And I know we've talked about it, but it seems like another good group that's coming in this year. And I'm sure you guys have kept in touch. A lot of guys coming back from last year. We got about, I think it's like 13 players that are returning. So it sounds like it was a pretty close group.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll second what Harry said. Usually guys talk about like their colleges and their alums there, and to be at a place that guys that have played at before are still talking about it like you would talk about at college. It's something special, knowing that you got the support not just from the current staff and current players, but everyone in prior generations. But yeah, like you said, we had a really good team last year. Kind of sucks that it ended the way it did, but it sounds like it's a common theme at the Stingrays where it's a good team and they usually have a good time off the ice. So I could say that about our group. Not that we were crazy or anything, or did a lot of partying, but we were close. We hung out away from the rink, and I think that's a big key factor with a good team, because you don't want to have those days where it's miserable going to the rink or seeing your teammates, some of the guys you don't like. But we didn't have that last year at all, and it sounds like we're gonna have a very similar group. So I'm really excited and can't wait to get back there.
Justin, you're the new guy here, but now you've been in Charleston for a little bit at least. What's your first experience has been like with the city and moving your family to Charleston?
Yeah, it's been great. I've got to meet a lot of really cool people. Before I even signed here, Andrew Chernchen's been one of my best friends in hockey ever since we went to school together at Northern Michigan, and he's been here quite a long time. So I talked to him, and he had nothing but good things to say. Like you guys said about the ownership, about the way everyone gets treated here, about the weather, the city, and the best of all the people here. So, that was one of the reasons for me coming here, to be a part of it. And it's been great. I hopped on a few of the Monday night alumni skates, so I got to meet a lot of other guys that are still in town here. that come and skate, you know, that still live in town. So that was pretty cool to meet a lot of them. And then I went to a booster dinner the other day, you know, met a few of the people that, you know, care a lot about the Stingrays. So it's cool to meet a few of those people as well. And it's just been awesome to see the hockey community here in Charleston. I'm really excited to, you know, be a part of it moving forward.
All right, so I want to know from the older guys. I think one of the biggest things that I see, at least, standing out from what it was when the league when the Stingrays started in this league, and now is the amount of teams that are near here is a lot different. The road trips have gotten a lot longer. When you older guys were here, there was a lot of quicker trips, and so there's a lot of fans traveling. It seemed like it was a totally different situation. Now, you know, the closest trip is Greenville or Jacksonville. It's 3.5 hours away, or then Atlanta, Orlando. Those are even further. So these guys are spending more time on the bus. You guys, I think it was a little bit quicker to get to some of these rivals that you were playing all the time.
Yeah, I'll speak to that. There was definitely some close games and some rivalries that got some pretty good games. To Hugo's point, I wasn't the most skilled player, but I enjoyed those tight games. But you know, the difference was, I think we did some of those longer road trips a little more regular than they may do now. Like, I mean, to the Louisiana type things, and you're on the road for 14 plus days with some guys, and to Dan's point, you better enjoy them, right? Or else it's going to be a long road trip. And we always had fun, and you know, you play a lot of cards, you get to know these guys pretty intimately, and you either take some of their money or they're taking yours at the back of the bus. So you better get
A lot
along
of per diems been
ugly.
lost.
Yeah, Harry's been there before.
Oh yeah, sure have.
And that was while I was up watching film, dissecting what these guys did wrong or right or whatever at the front. But yeah, you're right, Dan. It was. I remember. Well, the first year or two, we only had a regular bus. I mean, we had like 10, 12-hour bus rides all the time. And finally, I convinced the ownership to get one with a bunch of bunks. And anyway, I ended up going down to near the border of Georgia to a place where we rented our buses, and I helped them design one that had bunks that went all the way down both sides of the bus, three layers of bunks, so everybody would be comfortable. But I remember one weekend we went on a Friday night to Tallahassee, which I think was about 10 hours, came back and played at home Saturday night, and then played in Nashville on Sunday night, and then drove back after the game on Sunday. So probably about, I would say 36 hours or more we spent on the bus. And I got back and I said, holy shit, I'm exhausted. I don't know how the hell these guys are doing, because they played 3 games. They must be dead. And so right then and there, I realized that, you know, Mondays for the most part were going to be off days, and Tuesdays were going to be kind of get back into it, because we usually played back then always Friday, Saturday, Sunday, very few midweek games, period. So, but the bus rides were fun, and the good thing was that I had the compartment at the front and with the trainers and assistant coach, and there was a door between us and the players, because I didn't want to hear all the crowd.
Soundproof door too, thankfully, right?
No, it wasn't, but you know, we just crank up the TV and watch the video, and then we wouldn't have to listen to them.
Yeah, I still remember. I mean, you talk about us, granted, yeah, 3-3, and you know, all over the country, but we used to think, like, we've only had one bus driver the whole trip. Like, how is he staying awake? we always had some guy who, it would be Fitzy, or one of us would be sitting up with the bus. You just make sure he's staying awake the whole time, because I mean, his commitment was pretty intense too, to drive all that way all the time, for sure.
Was it Pete for you, Fornsey?
Yeah. I think Pete's a legend, man. Yeah.
We had the one guy I remember, and we were driving, and he had to have a leak. So he said, here, you take over. So we're going down this on the highway, and it was a big steep incline. I'm looking at it. He said, just jump in here. He said, So anyway,
Tom
I jump
Cruise.
into the driver's seat. We're going down this hill, and there's a bunch of cars ahead of us, and they're all stopped. And I'm like, I'm pumping the goddamn brakes, and I can't stop this goddamn thing. And he came running back. I said, "You get in here." I said, "Because we're going to run into those cars in front of us." So that was the last time I ever got behind the seat of a bus. I can tell you that. That was old time hockey, eh, Forrest?
That's that right. Yeah, yeah. Thankfully, you didn't get back behind there.
Oh Christ, no.
Well, for you guys too, I mean, I think all of us, obviously, the goal is to win a title, and you guys accomplished that. What was that? Obviously great memories and everything, but the road to get there, especially it sounds like for that 97 team, that there's some things you guys had to overcome, and you won the regular season, or you were one of the highest teams in the regular season that 97 year, but it seemed like it was, just looking back at the playoff series, like those were not easy series. Those were pretty crazy series from what I can tell.
Well, they were tough. And we did win the regular season that year. We were the first team to win the regular season and the playoffs in the same year. But it was kind of weird. I made some deals at the deadline before the deadline. Fornsey and Bedsy came over from Huntington.
Yep.
And we didn't give up much, and we got a lot back in return. And then made a couple other moves that really made us a pretty good team all around. Like we had good guys on the forecheck, fast guys. We had skilled guys. But then all of a sudden we had two games left in the season, and Ed Courtney, who scored 50 some odd goals that year and was tied for the lead in points, two hands a guy across the face and gets suspended for the entire playoffs. And everybody's sitting in the room going like, holy shit, what are we going to do without Eddie scoring goals? And it was a matter of just like, hey guys, it's just everybody's got to chip in now. We got to find those goals somewhere, and it's got to come from in here because there's no one out there that's going to score goals for us. And the guys did it. I mean, we had some close series, and the best one was the finals, winning it in Lafayette, Louisiana. There was a big fan bus there as well, so we ended up stopping. Where did we stop?
Ugly games in Lafayette, didn't we?
Oh,
like
God.
Some just nasty when it got close that we were going to win. Yeah.
Well, I remember. The guy who was coaching there.
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
Played against them, but anyway.
Ask your wife.
Yeah, I don't think she remember that. But their team was so undisciplined, and we took advantage of that. I think in that series we won 4-1. I think in games, and I think our power play ran at about 35%. Brad Dexter, we brought him in from Raleigh in another trade, and he quarterbacked our power play that was like about 35% in that series. So they kept taking penalties, and sometimes 5-on-3s we had, but the key was we capitalized on them, and so we made them suffer if they took stupid penalties, which they took a lot of.
Wasn't that the year Cords and Roscoe scored like 100 points each? Yeah. 105 or something like that.
115, I think it was.
Yeah.
And they both had 50 goals or more, and we had a great team. But more importantly, we had guys that really wanted to win real bad. And Brett Marietti was our captain, and we had like Chris Hines. I remember he said, "I'll block a shot with my face if I have to win." And sure enough, in game 5, the last game, he got a puck in the nose. It was blood everywhere. He skates off. About 5 minutes later, the door opens. He comes skating out with cotton up both nostrils, and he finished the game. And for me, that was the most fun because I had a bunch of great kids, and they are kids to me anyway. And they worked their asses off. They listened, and they wanted to win real bad. That's what it takes to win. I mean, it's not. I mean, we weren't the most skilled team, but I brought in a lot of good character. I think at the deadline that really put us over the hump. And Fornsley obviously was one of those guys.
I mean, Marietti is just a pure leader. I mean,
Yeah.
the guy doesn't talk too much in the dressing room, but on the ice, you follow him every time. It's just the guy. I can say he's probably the last one on the ice at practice, the first one out. But when it's time for game time, he's on it, and you just follow him.
Yeah.
So yeah, Spags is definitely a true leader.
Yeah, now he's the heck were the name of those guys that had that show with the beards, Duck Dynasty, and that's kind of what Brett is now. He's out hunting and fishing and doing all that
I was
stuff
hunting
all
with-
the time. And
Yeah, I was hunting with him last weekend. It was me, Fitz, Beds. We had Concannon. I don't know if I should be saying this because I saw the recording button lying out there, but we had Concannon out in the woods. He shows up in Lululemon shorts, brand new white sneakers, and a friggin' tank top. And we're just like, what are you doing? We're hunting. It's like we're all in camo with snake boots, and this kid is in white, brand new kicks, Lululemon. He never sat in a tree stand. He never helped. So Spags got some property out there. We were cutting trees and burning stuff and helping him out. And he never got off the trailer. He just sat there and barked at us the whole time. It was absolute classic. Yeah.
that doesn't surprise me one bit. But the Lululemons, I didn't know he graduated to that level.
But they were camo. They were camo. So he
were they
felt
camo?
okay. Yeah, they were camo.
Boy, that kid, I tell you, he was one pain in the ass for.
City
Well,
slicker.
I think he was there 4 out of the 5 years I was there.
Yeah.
And I mean, he was great to have around. Don't get me wrong, and he played really well for us. He kept the room real light, which was phenomenal. But boy, oh boy, sometimes you just had to call him in and say, "Coots, you might have gone a little too far, kid. You know, tone it down a little bit next time."
Yeah. Do anything for you though. He's a good
yeah.
kid.
Yeah.
Never, you could bring him in and tell him that, but it never registered. He was going full throttle the very next opportunity he could. So
you always need one in the team, man. You always need one who's going to be chirping the whole time.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think there's ever a team I was on or coached or anything. You didn't have at least one guy like that or two.
Oh yeah.
And
you need one.
Those guys.
Yep.
Yeah.
Spags and I say it all the time. It was me, Spags and Kooks on a line for the most part. And it was me and Brett always, whether it was on the ice or off the ice, we saved that boy from a lot of pain over the years.
And like you said, sober.
Yeah, stone sober. That's right. Yeah. Good times.
For those of you guys that are still in the Charleston area, what do you feel like is a little bit different? If you come to a game, it's probably a little bit of a different feel. You're probably memories of when you were playing, but how have things changed a little bit? What's a little bit different when you look back at it now?
I mean, the city changed tremendously when back when I played early 2000, where we go out was always the market. Now it's like everything's Upper King. We didn't go much Upper King back then except Silver Dollar. But like the whole city's changed big time the past, 20 years. Now you get a lot of college, and I mean, it's great for those young guys. College chicks are everywhere. So, but yeah, I mean, the city changed. I don't go much.
One thing never changes. Exactly what you said, Hugo.
I don't go much to the game anymore, but I mean, the attendance slowed down a little bit. So we used to play a little bit bigger crowd, but I mean, the game is much faster. I don't know if I could ever play at that level back then. I mean, everything's offensive. It's more open. But hey, kudos to you guys. I couldn't do it. So.
For real.
Well, back in our day, it was a much different game too. And even when I was coaching these guys, it was the game was a little different. It was policed by the players primarily, and so if one of your top guys, we had some pretty good players, Dave Seitz and Capola, or not Capola, whatever.
Yeah.
What the hell was his name?
Capola was there.
Anyway,
Yep.
is that his name?
Yeah, I think
my
so.
memory sucks, boy, guys. I got hit in the head too many goddamn times, but yeah, I mean, it was, and so even when I was coaching, it was still kind of the same, but not quite as bad as it was in the 70s and 80s when you had the Broad Street bullies and all that crap. It was like, I mean, it was tough. It was, I didn't have to worry about it too much. I did fight a lot, kind of let everybody know that I wasn't going to go anywhere if they tried to intimidate me. But unfortunately, I got the kicked out of me most of the time. But that was fun.
Happens to the best of them.
Yeah, I was telling my son, I said, I wish I had your size for 1 year and I could go back in time and get all those guys that beat the hell out of me one more time, because he's 6'6", 250. So I think that would help.
Football.
Hugo mentioned it. Obviously, things have changed a little bit as far as where everybody hangs out. Where are some of the places that you guys have found that have been good to go as a team or do things? Both sides, young and old. The places that you guys are spending your time away from the rink.
I'd like to hear from some of the new guys where they're going now, because we when we go out, we go to different places, guaranteed.
I'll let Sal take this one.
The boys tend to like Uptown Social now.
Oh yeah.
We usually have a good time there. Saltwater Cowboys, that's right on the water. What's the other one downtown, Harry, that we usually go to?
Dispensary.
Oh yeah, that's it.
That's a good one.
And isn't there like a cocktail club or something?
Cocktail club. Yep.
Those are pretty
You
much
guys
the
go
main
to the
ones.
Republic.
Yeah, that's right across the street, right, from the cocktail club. Yeah.
Yeah, we
They don't-
might
they
have been
don't
there
sound
once or
like-
twice.
They don't sound like places that you would have been for, Z, or would have been allowed in.
Right. Yeah. I would go now. Cocktail club sounds like a place I'd hang out in.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it's pretty good. They got live music some majority of the nights, I think.
Yep.
Perfect.
Half off bottle of wine on Sunday.
You
Live
guys should go to Dudley's. They get great happy hour over there. They're gonna love you out there. They're gonna love you guys.
I think I went to a few of those places 2 years ago when my son got married down there. That's how much my kids love Charleston. He took his fiance down there a couple of times on vacation, and right away they just fell in love with it and said, we're going to get married here. So the whole family was down there. There was a ton of people, and we went on a big boat cruise. That cost me an arm and a leg. Food, and I think there was about there was 80 some people on the boat, and music and food and everything, open bar.
I didn't get the invite,
So
Byron.
that set me back.
Yeah, must have been lucky.
It was my son's wedding. It wasn't mine.
You were paying. Let's go.
I had no control.
Bring your boys
I had
in.
no control over who was invited.
Now, so if you get married in the States, does that make you an American? Just curious.
Unfortunately.
No.
Oh, but Justin, he's American. He was born in Buffalo, so he's actually a dual citizen because he's. Well, don't tell them at the U.S. border because they think you're crazy that when you say you're a dual citizen. But
Yeah, just show whatever passport. Like when I go home, I show my Canadian passport. When I come back, I show my U.S. passport.
Get through the line
that's
quicker.
exactly what
That's
he
right.
did.
It's always the welcome home line wherever I go.
Well, now they got that Nexus, which is fantastic. They got dedicated lines just for Nexus card owners. So if we go down to watch my son and see him for a weekend or just going across the border, there's a golf course over there. My buddies and I go over and play quite a bit. And it's easy. You pull up, you put your card in the reader, you pull up, basically they just say, where are you going? I'm going to play golf. Okay, see you later.
I do a ton of flying now, and if people knew me back in the day, I think I'd get searched a little bit more. But I look
There's no question
innocent
about
now.
that. Well, I don't do a lot of flying because I hate flying, and I mean, the thought of even getting on a plane nowadays with what's going on is like, are you kidding? Are you crazy? I'm not getting on no damn airplane.
Been on one plane in 9 months. One. It's crazy. It's
You know
COVID.
what? I can't remember. I think the last time I was on a plane was when the Leafs had camp in Newfoundland a few years back, and we had an alumni game out there, and so we all flew out there, and then did some appearances at Ford dealerships and stuff like that. We were there for like a week, and that place is crazy.
Yeah.
Newfoundland.
The Rock.
George Street.
Yeah, it's George Street. No fun.
Yeah, really. I mean, it's like 4 blocks of bars, and cars aren't allowed on that street. And at 1 or 2, whatever time it closes, everybody just floods out into the street, walks down. There's a pizza joint there. The lineup is about 4 blocks long. That's a good old Maritimes for you.
I got called up there with you. That's when I went up there to the Rock. I got introduced to the Rock pretty quickly.
Yeah. Oh yeah, did you get screeched in?
No, I don't remember, but I don't think so. It sounds like something I'd remember, but I don't think so.
It entails kissing a fish, so I don't know if you don't remember that. Yeah, but you might have done it and you just don't remember.
Right. Well, that's possible.
Fournel, you said you obviously keep in touch with a lot of those guys. Anybody else that you guys who are here, keep in touch with other relationships that you guys had that have stayed through many years here since you played?
Yeah, for me, it's a small group of guys, and it's crazy. The group of guys that were in my wedding, I played in Huntington, West Virginia, right? And that's where I met. That's where Beds and I met. Yep, and we both got traded from Huntington. So we went from a losing team in Huntington to a losing team in Charleston at the time, right? And I remember the day like it was yesterday. Like our coach, we had lost, I want to say like 12 games in a row. It was crazy, right? And they come in and said, there's no sacred cows. Like everybody's got opportunity to get out of here. And Jared and I were living together, and get a phone call that night at the house, not a cell phone. We got a call at the house back then. And I pick up the phone, and it's our coach. And gosh, what was his name? Do you remember Vaive?
He's from PEI too.
Yeah. What was his name?
Yeah, I'll think of it.
It'll come to me anyway. And he said, "Hey, is Jared home?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, Jared's getting traded, right?" Because he and I had become pretty close at that point. And I was like, crap. I'm like, yeah, hold on a second. He goes, I need to talk to you too, right? So I was like, okay. So we ended up getting traded. We show up in Charleston, and we ended up going on like I want to say 21, and we were undefeated in like 22 or 23 games. It was crazy. So, but that group from there, so there's Jared from Huntington, and I know Jim Birmingham he was also at my wedding. And then there's the rest of the Charleston guys that they were in my wedding party. They're guys that I know that if I needed anything, it's a phone call away, and same for them, right? Vice versa. Anybody's having something, we go up, Beds has his summer parties, and it's always a group of guys, and at the end, and he brings the young guys, the local guys that are playing at the time or whatever. But at the end of the night, late night, 2:00 in the morning, it's always that same group of guys that are still there just hanging out. And it's Kincannon, it's Mary, and and again, Kincannon stays through this for the most part, as late as he can, and he's not drinking. So kudos to him. We say he's a pain in the ass, but at that point we got to be a pain in the ass, right? It's late night, and it's Marietti, and it's Fitzsimmons, and it's Bednar and Romfo. So it's still a great group of guys that phone call away, right? I didn't play with Hugo, but when we're down there, we always run into each other at some point, and yeah. So you feel like family, whether you were 10 years apart on that team or not. It's still a close knit group for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of nice to see that a lot of the guys that play there have settled there, and Brett with his what is it, fencing company, and Fitzy I stay in touch with quite a bit, and he comes to Toronto and scouting sometimes, so I'll meet him down at Scotiabank Arena, and whenever Colorado comes in, obviously I go to that game, so I stop in and see Bedsy before the game and stuff like that, and I don't regularly talk to a lot of the guys that have played for me, but they were all great kids and worked extremely hard and made my job a hell of a lot easier. That's for sure. And
I don't mean to cut you off, but wasn't it 3-4 years ago, Vaive, you were remember you were at Brett's? I hadn't seen you in, I don't know, 15 years or whatever it was. We were at Brett's. You were in town for something. I mean, Brett had a cookout, and we kind of all
was that not an alumni thing?
Maybe it was. Maybe that's what it was. Yeah.
I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Beggs always get the guest house, so.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. He's always got some stragglers.
I heard he's renting it out now, though. I heard he's renting half of it out now.
Yeah, just that backside. Okay. He does Airbnb, but yeah.
Got to make a little coin for his hunting and fishing and everything else.
Right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I just came out with a book that just was released on Tuesday about my life and career and everything. And there's pretty much a whole chapter on Charleston in that book. It's called Catch 22, and just about a lot of things that I went through growing up and playing the game, and Catch 22 situations that I was put in on many, many occasions throughout my career and before that as well. So. And overcoming a lot of shit too. So we're pretty proud of it. It's well written by Scott Morrison, who was a beat writer when I played in Toronto way back, and we became buddies. And I'm pretty proud of it because it's honest. It's when I played, I never pretended to be an angel, and everybody knew that. And then alcohol kind of took over my life, and actually, I quit when I was in Charleston after my first season as a coach, and almost 15 years, and started again for a couple of years, and then ended up having to go to rehab. And well, I didn't have to go, but I chose to go, and I think it's been it'll be 8 years in December.
Good for you.
Since my last drink. So there's a lot of stuff that'll. It's a good read if you want to pick it up. And there's a whole chapter on my 5 years in Charleston there, and all the great things about the city and the organization and the ownership and everything else. So, and then of course that book goes all the way back to 1959. So you guys probably wouldn't understand that stuff back then, but.
Sounds like a lot of chapters, but congrats on your
sobriety.
Well, congrats on the book.
Yeah, thank you. It took about 7 months, I guess, to do it, and a lot of phone calls with Scotty and gathering up pictures. My wife had to do a lot of the research because I didn't remember half the stuff, and of course my sister got in and filled him in on all the pertinent dates, which I couldn't remember, and that sort of thing, like when my parents passed away, what date it was and what year. And it was the dates I had. It wasn't the years. I couldn't remember the years.
Sure.
So.
Deal.
But.
Hey guys, this is awesome. I think this is great for me at least. I got some great education for for myself. But no, I hope you guys all enjoyed it too. And no, it was great having you all kind of come together and do this. It was awesome.
So you guys are going to play. What? You guys are one of the teams starting in December?
Yep, we're starting December 11th.
Oh, yeah, and then the rest of them.
You guys are going to be on the ice pretty soon here.
Yeah, the other guys aren't starting until mid-January, roughly, something like that.
Yeah, about a month after us.
But anyway, well, good luck this year, boys.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
You don't have to go to Cincinnati very much because you didn't do very well there last year. Right?
Little dig, little dig.
I'm just,
I don't think we played
We
Cincy
didn't play
last year.
Cincinnati last
Yeah, we
year.
didn't.
wasn't
Yeah.
it last year or the year before?
If we did, we would have beat them.
Nice.
No, you guys didn't go, you went up there last year.
No, we didn't play there last year.
Yeah, and then they were supposed to come down and play you guys in March.
Yeah,
April.
they were. Yeah, the season got canceled right before they were supposed to come down.
Yeah, and I was gonna go down and take in a few of the games in Charleston and then around there. They were playing Greenville. I think they had a game or two, and
They had like a whole
Jacksonville.
week. I think they had the whole week scheduled in Charleston. I was talking to some of their
yeah, they
people
did.
were
Yeah,
excited to get down into the nice weather, and then they got pulled right out from under them
yeah.
last minute.
Well, it was like with the record I have in Toronto, 54 goals, and Matthews was getting close to it last year. And he's a hell of a player, boy. I'll tell you, he can play and he can shoot. And then, everybody started asking me about the record and everything. And I said, well, I mean, someone's going to break it at some point. It's probably going to be him. He's that damn good. And I said, the only thing that bothers me is, well, first of all, no one ever wants their records broken, but it's going to happen. So you got to realize that. And then he got pretty close, and I felt bad for him because it wasn't an injury that derailed his opportunity to get, tie or break the record. It was just the pandemic, and everybody asked me, and I honestly I felt horrible for the kid because it would have been great too because he would have done it when he was 22 years old when I did it, and it would have been great. I would have been the first guy down there as Frank Mahovlich was when I broke his record. And there's some of these guys going, Frank Mahovlich, who's that? I'm just kidding, guys. You probably know. Anyway, this was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it.
So we're clear, like Tim, Justin, and Dan. I mean, at this point now, if we can reach out, if I need tickets, I can.
Oh, here we go again.
I mean, I feel like we're family now, so I can have tickets, right?
So
we'll see how many they give us.
Is Kooks cutting you off already?
I need Plan B, right?
A couple of extra tickets here and there.
That's right.
After you expose his Lululemon camo pants, I don't know if
Yeah.
you'll be getting any tickets anytime soon from him.
I think I have a lifetime.
Full price.
Ormsey, I think I have a lifetime pass. They didn't give you one?
Kooks runs a tight ship. He'll charge us full price in a heartbeat.
Charging me, that little bastard. And tell him that too, Jared.
I will.
Enjoy it, guys. Great meeting you guys.
Good luck this season,
Good
guys.
luck.
Have
Thank
fun
you.
and enjoy it.
Thanks for sharing your stories, guys.
Yeah, it was a pleasure meeting you guys.
Likewise.
And hopefully this season I'll be able to get down there and see you guys because I am going to go south somewhere because this cold is driving me crazy. I spent my whole life on outdoor rinks and never whined about it for 1 second, and now I hate it. So I'm hoping to get down somewhere down there this winter.